Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about how I take care of my plants and how I keep them green and healthy and so on and so forth. I'm going to show you guys what I use right now. A little disclaimer is that I'm not doing this outside because one, it's 10 o'clock at night. And two, I live in Massachusetts where it's December now and the weather outside is like 30 degrees, so it's a little bit too cold and dark to be doing this. So this is why I normally do this in the house, and I do this about, I want to say every 4 months, 5 months. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Usually looks like I take my rug out, I just roll it up and put it to the side so it doesn't get filthy. I set out a trash bag so the wood floor does not get ruined. And I normally cut it so it can be nice and flat. This is one trash bag. I have a damp rag, which I will show you what I do with that later on. I got some regular potting soil. This is the Miracle Grow. I usually only use Miracle Grow just because it's a really good brand, and that's basically what I've always used. I did try other brands, but they didn't work as best as Miracle Grow. This is the moisture control potting soil. So this is just regular soil. The next two things that I use, oh, there it goes. The next two things that I use is this Purelight, and this just improves more drainage. It's the little, it's basically like these little white balls, but more, and I can add more in there, so it's like an extra nutrients. And I absolutely love this stuff. It's basically like a really good vitamin for the plants, especially when they're indoors. And for this guy that just fell, this is peat moss, and a couple of my plants do require peat moss, such as my Monstera plant, or Monstera, however you guys want to say it. So I am going to be adding some peat moss to that and some peat moss to my palm tree back there. So without further ado, I will show you guys how I do this. So usually I start off by clipping the dead leaves. This usually happens from time to time. Leaves don't last forever, and when one dies, you want to get it away right away, because it can cause a little bit of toxin to the whole plant. I also trim the leaves if they look a little bit dead, just to keep it looking more alive. I trim the brown tips at the edge of the plants, and then I go in with the soil and pick out whatever dead leaves I see in there, or whatever soil is just looks a little clumpy, and I just take them out so I can add in my new soil. Then I usually go in with a damp cloth and start wiping the leaves, because dust gets on these leaves, especially if you have a lot of indoor plants. A lot of dust can come on these leaves and can also stop it from growing. Believe it or not, dust is really bad for plants if you let it build up. And this is the outcome of all the dust that was on my leaves. Pretty disgusting. Now I'm going to add some potting soil to the plant, and this plant is a peace lily. Sorry, I forgot to tell you guys if you guys would like to know. Peace lilies are very well kept plants for people that do not have a green thumb. They will tell you when they need to be watered. I'm also adding the Purelight in there for extra drainage, and they will sag if they do need to be watered. So that's the best thing about them. Right now I'm just watering her since I did put new soil in. And yeah, that's about it. Very simple plant, really easy to grow, and they grow huge. Next up is one of my favorite plants ever. It is the Monstera or Monstera. I'm not really sure how to say it. I know the nickname is Swiss cheese plant. This plant is originated from Mexico, and instead of potting soil, I'm adding in some peat moss, and I'm trimming any leaves that look dead. The same step that I did for the peace lily, I'm doing for this plant as well. So this plant I've always wanted, but I never could find it until last summer. I seen it at Stop and Shop for $10 and I grabbed it back in July, and it has grown huge, and it does not need much sunlight. It's pretty good on water. I let it dry out and then I water it. So yeah, I'm just wiping the leaves, keeping them nice and shiny, and that is about it. I'm gonna water it and put her back in her spot. They do not like to be moved too much, so keep in mind when you buy one, keep it in a spot that you're gonna keep forever. Next plant is one of my favorites as well. This is a silver pothos. I bought this in Boston back last March, and it has grown crazy length. This thing will climb anything you put next to it. She was actually climbing the windowsills, and I noticed that she was busting out of her original pot. So I did paint that pot behind me, if you guys can see it. I painted it white. It was just a regular terracotta pot, and I decided that today's the day I was going to repot her. I did not know how bad it was. When I took her out of the pot, all I seen was just straight roots, as you guys can see. So she was running out of soil, so I caught it just in time. So as I'm repotting it, I'm just using regular potting soil in the Pure Light, and I'm breaking some of the roots, just kind of spreading them out so they can grow within the new soil, and I'm clipping any little dead roots that I see as well. So right now, after she's all potted, I am going to wipe down her leaves like I did with all of my other plants before. I had this plant when I used to live with my mom, so my bedroom was really small there, and the dust would pile up a lot faster, and I have not wiped the leaves ever since I moved out. So a little bit of neglect, but she's still doing great. And if you guys see your leaves a little bit turning yellow like this, you want to snip them. You want the leaves to look nice and green, not yellowy. And also you could see it on the back as well. It basically was ready to die, so you want to clip those kind of leaves. And then of course you are going to water it. And this, I took the garbage bag out because this plant didn't need that much work. So I'm just adding some potting soil to this, or some potting soil and peat moss actually mixed. So I'm also adding the Pure Light as well, and I am trimming the leaves. The same steps that I did with all of the other plants. You want to keep that in mind with new plants as well. This is a Majesty Palm. Believe it or not, she doesn't really like much sunlight, and the tag when I bought her said it loves sunlight, but I beg to differ on that. I have her in a little shady spot in my living room. I used to have her in my bedroom, but the sun would hit it too much and dry out the leaves, so I decided to move her in the living room, and she's doing great. She's actually sprouted new leaves, and this is my first time owning a palm tree, so I've had it since July, and it's doing really good. So I definitely will purchase another one next summer. They do not sell these around my area as of right now because of the holidays. They're selling a lot of Christmas trees, so not my forte. So, and again, you want to water it. This plant, I let it dry out completely, and then I water it fully. Anyways, I hope you guys liked the video. I could not show you all of my plants because the video would be like over an hour long. It does take quite a while when I trim them, you know, repot them, give them extra protein. It does take a while, but the outcome of like when you wake up in the morning and see them, it's like they just thrive. The minute you start taking care of a plant and showing it love, you will have the best luck with plants. All you need is a little bit of TLC. You really need to have love for them, and they are living things, so you can't neglect them. There are some plants you can, but eventually it will show. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm gonna finish up these plants and hop in the shower and head to bed. But any questions about plants, just leave them down below, or any questions at all, just leave them down below and I will get to them as soon as possible. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.